Welcome back, everybody, to the final division we're going to be covering here, the Pacific Division. The division that is just an absolute gauntlet year in and year out. A division that has Connor McDavid in it. An unbelievable division for the most part. And we're going to get to it here, starting out with the Anaheim Ducks. I'll start with saying they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think that's crazy to say. They have a decent team. Don't get me wrong. You pick up Chris Kreider. That's interesting. Carlson, Terry. You sign Mason McTavish long term. I don't. I wish Mason McTavish nothing but the best. One of my best friends, Daniel D'Amico, who played for the Windsor Spitfires. Oh man, they had a playoff series against the Hamilton Bulldogs in the OHL a couple years back, and Mason McTavish was on the Hamilton Bulldogs, and my one of my boys, Daniel D'Amico, was on the Windsor Spitfires, and Dan had a crazy, crazy year. And then, unfortunately, D'Amico doesn't get drafted. Oh man, we were growing up hoping Dan makes the fucking AHL, bro. Holy. But on the other end of the ice, Mason McTavish ends up going to the AHL. I'm happy for the guy. Good for you. That's amazing. That's truly awesome. Granlund, former Dallas Star, great hockey player. Is that wait, no, that's not Granlund. I'm tripping, dude. I am tripping. Wrong Granlund. I'm thinking of Granlund on Dallas Stars. Anyways, Dylan Strome, kill him. Like this team's all right. I you lose Trevor Zegras, which is still I don't understand why he left to go to Philly. I'm not sure, but he did. That's what happened. This team's all right. Their goaltending core is whatever. I don't think they're going to make playoffs. You got two former Rangers, Jake Trouba and Chris Kreider. Are they going to help you move forward? We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Anaheim Ducks. I personally don't think they're going to make playoffs. Moving on to another team I don't think is making playoffs is the Calgary Flames. You got Nazem Kadri, who is fiending like a dog foaming from the mouth to be in playoffs. This guy would do anything to be on the Colorado Avalanche nowadays, and they certainly could use Nazem Kadri down the center, specifically under third line. This team is another team that's rebuilding, and you know what? You got your one cup with Lanny back in the day, but you know what? Their time is over, and I don't see them making the playoffs. I just don't. A couple years ago, when they faced Edmonton in the Battle of Alberta with Sam Bennett and Matt Kachuk and all those guys, that was an unbelievable series. High scoring, unreal. The Flames are just not there. They're just not there. They're not there yet. They're gonna be there one day. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. You got Wolf, the youngin. He's a good goaltender. Is he your long-term goalie? I would like to think so. I think he's good enough to be the starting goalie there down in Calgary, Alberta. Down in the Alberta. But I don't have them making playoffs. They're an all right team. They're a weird team. They're like Chicago. They're going to be in close games. They're not going to blow out anybody, obviously under certain circumstances, back to backs and whatnot. But they're not bad. They're going to be whatever. They're not going to make playoffs. So moving on to a team who was fantastic at home, who also faces off against Nate Dogg and the Colorado Avalanche tonight, is the Los Angeles Kings. Just like Gino, Anze Kopitar, two-time Stanley Cup winner, hardware upon hardware, is calling it quits after this year. As a hockey fan, that sucks. Anze Kopitar is and always has been just a top tier talent in this league. Been on the Kings forever, won cups. He's a dog. He's a fantastic hockey player, and he will forever be a legend in hockey. and in obviously LA Kings history. Kuzmenko, really like his game. Coming from Vancouver, I think he's done a lot of good things for them to really be like, okay, we could get you long term. I think they're going to do enough to get him going there. Adrian Kempe, unbelievable playoff performer. This guy is the Oilers' worst nightmare. And I know they haven't beat the Oilers in the past 4 years in the first round of the playoffs, but Adrian Kempe is a dog. He's a dog. He's very, very good. Kevin Fiala, obviously. Quinton Byfield, that boy could score the puck. Lafreniere, obviously, could score the puck as well. Fogle, third line, former Oiler. Don't know. Like, this team's good too. They're going to make playoffs. They're going to be an absolute wagon at home, like they always are. And I just think when you also have guys like Drew Doughty, you have guys like Anse Kopitar. Darcy Kemper is a great goaltender. He showed you that they're going to be a good team. They're always going to be a good team. You got Cody Cece. I don't know how he even still Cody Cece making $4.5 million a year to me is the most questioning thing ever. Personally, I don't think he's a great defenseman, but you know what, bro? You're in there, and good for you. That's all I gotta say. They're gonna make playoffs. They're gonna be just fine if you're an LA Kings fan. And shout out Anse Kopitar. Moving on to the San Jose Sharks. I'll start by saying they're not making playoffs. This team is very young. They have a bright future, I would like to think. Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini. They got a bunch of young guys. They got Tyler Toffoli, Stanley Cup winner with the LA Kings, keep in mind. They got veteran presence. They also have guys who are young and up and coming. I don't expect much from the San Jose Sharks, but in the same breath, I think that they are just going to continue to build. And I don't blame them because no one gives a fuck about the San Jose Sharks. No one cares. They could be shit for the next 40 years. No one cares. Nedeljkovic, he's an all right goaltender, kind of up and down. Lindgren, they're all right. Klimberg, they're not like they picked up Dmitry Orlov, who had a weird season last year with the Carolina Hurricanes. They're just whatever. I don't really expect much from the San Jose Sharks. Moving on here, they're not making playoffs, by the way. Moving on, another team who's not making playoffs is the Seattle Kraken, who have a weirdly good team, but also don't. Marshman, Matty Beniers, McCann, Jordan Eberle, like their team's all right. They're just not good enough to make playoffs, in my opinion. Their defense is all right. You got Matt Murray. Good luck with that. Their goaltending is kind of whatever. I don't really see them going anywhere, to be honest. This is another franchise where it's like you're an expansion team. You get all the help from the league to become a good team. You make playoffs that 1 year and beat Colorado, and then you fall off a cliff. So I don't really know what to expect from the Seattle Kraken. I'm glad they're in the league though. Shout out Seattle, shout out the Seahawks, but they're not going to make playoffs. Moving on to another weird team in this Pacific Division, the Vancouver Canucks. Elias Pettersson. Like this guy, obviously he's obviously amazing. He's a great hockey player, but he also just doesn't really get it done. I know people are saying, "Oh, he bulked up. He's ready to go." Jake DeBrusk, big fan of his. Brock Besser signed long term. You're gonna have him till he's done. Another weird team. You also pick up Evander Kane from the Oilers. The thing with Evander Kane is that he never really stays healthy, but when he's on, he's a very, very effective hockey player, especially in the playoffs. That guy's grittiness, his physicality, he also could score the puck too. So you got a decent team down there in Vancouver, British Columbia. Thatcher Demko, can he stay healthy? Hopefully, Lankinen. Their goaltending core is not horrendous. Their defense, obviously, Quinn Hughes. Is he going to stay in Vancouver? I don't think so. That boy's American. He wants out of Canada probably 10 times out of 10, twice on Sundays. So I think the Vancouver Canucks probably slither into a wild card. They're not going to win the Stanley Cup, though. Moving on to the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, shit. Mitch Marner, baby. You got Mitch Marner playing with Jack Eichel and Barbashev. That's an unbelievable first line. Give me a goddamn break. This team is always going to be good. No tax state. Mark Stone, Carlson Smith, Brendan Saad. Oh, golly. This team's low key stacked. They're very, very good. Shea Theodore, McNabb, Hill, Hannafin, White Cloud, golly. Aiden Hill didn't see a single second in the Four Nations, but that boy, he's a good goddamn goaltender. I'll tell you that for free. I have zero shadow of a doubt that these guys are not going to be a contender. They're going to be up there, and I think with the addition of Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, ironically enough, in his final year of his $10 million contract, is going to go crazy. Jack Eichel is going to score 40 goals plus playing with Mitch Marner on his right wing. Watch out for the Vegas Golden Knights. This team's going to be a wagon, especially at home. And then moving on to the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid signed the contract. They're back in business. They mean business. They want to win a cup. Now, looking at this team here currently under Puckpedia, they definitely do not look like a team that's going to win the Stanley Cup. But they've been there back-to-back years. I think Connor McDavid leaving that much cap space and room to build this roster up even more is a huge positive. I don't know if they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. They're certainly going to make playoffs, obviously. When you have McDavid, you have a chance. Evan Bouchard signing for $10.5 million. To me, that's terrifying. And don't get me wrong, he's obviously proven himself. Been to back-to-back cup finals, has the bomb of a slap shot, plays the power play. Good defenseman at times. Sometimes he takes nights off, which is not something you want to see, especially when you're paying somebody $10.5 million a year. But the main thing with the Edmonton Oilers is their goaltending. Stuart Skinner is a very, very suitable backup. I just don't think you could win a Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner as your number one and Calvin Pickard, who is a AHL goalie at best. With McDavid leaving that much money on the table, their number one priority should be getting a goaltender. I think they're going to do it. I don't know who they're going to get. And another thing with the Oilers is Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse making 9.25 a year is the most disgusting thing of all time. I'm not shitting on these guys because they're in the NHL and I'm not. But 9.2 a year for Darnell Nurse is some of the most disgusting things you would like to see, specifically as an Oiler fan. And I think you all can agree with that. You like to think that he is gonna like step up his game and be an effective defenseman, but he just doesn't show up some days. Even in the playoffs, he'll go 3 games playing like shit, have one good game, and everybody says, "Oh, his contract's not that bad," but then he fucking shits it up. So we'll see what the Oilers do. You have McDavid, you have Draisaitl, you have a chance. You have a chance to win. They're going to be in the mix. They're going to be in the playoffs. But with that being said, we'll see what happens moving forward. Shout out McDavid for signing that contract, giving the Oilers a chance to win a Stanley Cup. That is the most classy thing you could do, especially when your idol is Sidney Crosby, because that's what he did, and that's why Sidney Crosby has 3 Stanley Cups. That's the Pacific. That's the fucking predictions. That is the preview. Thank you for watching. Go Blue Jays.